Please be advised, the contents of this episode speak about sexual violence towards women.
ABC News released an article detailing the horrific way in which 19-year-old Miya Mercano was brutally murdered by a 27-year-old maintenance man named Armando Caballero. Caballero worked at Arden Villas and was found dead Monday from an apparent suicide, authorities said. News of the 19-year-old's untimely death sent shockwaves through the Black and Latino community, as domestic violence and femicide rates seem to be higher among these two communities. As expected, there was discourse about what women should do to keep themselves safe, and not nearly enough outrage directed at the men who kill women.
Like, well, what was she wearing? Well, why didn't she just?
Well, maybe if she didn't have that skirt on, why do I have to? You need to be able to control yourself. Why are you even thinking that?
It always is directed at
what did she have on? Where
what did she have on? It doesn't matter.
What time of the day it was.
It doesn't matter what she had on, what time. You shouldn't be touching anybody, period.
Yeah. Some men got it and understood that the world is dangerous for a woman who dares to say no to a man.
Right.
And some men, Twitter user The Simp Pimp said, niggas say you pandering because you say women need to be protected. Bro, a woman just got killed by the maintenance man because she turned him down. That don't make you upset, my nigga? Whereas another male user with the handle The Uno King had the following to say: I hear you, but it's my job to protect my family. It's not my job to protect every woman on the planet. If I see a man on that, I'll intervene, but I'm not Batman. I'm not looking for it. You as a woman should be ready to protect yourself at all times. It sucks, but it's the truth.
Okay, so I'm short. Yeah, I'm gonna have a little bit more. But if a 6'2", like 250 pound like man, I can't like fight that. So yes, I can protect myself. But strength wise, it may not be a match.
And you know what? And you know what gets me aggravated all the time? It's like, I'm saying off of experience. As a single woman, I always have to think of, okay, so if a man approaches me, what response can I give to make him not angry? I always have to think, okay, if I say, no, I'm not interested, that could be like
that, and I'm a married woman.
Right. I was going to say that's not even single.
A single woman thing.
Right.
I think
okay, so
that's
just
actually
anything.
a woman thing.
Yeah.
As a woman thing.
Like
so it's just like, okay, so if I tell them I'm not interested, that's going to hurt their pride. So that may cause him to lash out at me. Okay, so what if I say, no, my husband wouldn't like it? But then he could still say this, or he could still be like, oh, he doesn't allow you to have friends. But if you come back with a thing, it could be a whole nother situation. So for the fact that we got to think of in a quick second of a response to not be killed by the hand.
That's our reality. Yep.
That's the reality.
Here's the thing. As a teenager, my mom was assaulted because she turned someone down. What's up, shorty? And she was like, she just didn't want to be bothered. And because she didn't want to be bothered, it turned into something, and he sliced her. I know someone who lost her life in a club because someone approached her, and it turned into a situation because she was there with her husband. And it turned into an altercation, and the guy took out a gun, and he was gonna shoot the husband, and she jumped in and he murdered her.
Oh.
So when people make comments as to we can't protect every woman, and we can't. You should protect not only just your family. You should protect all women, because there is no response that we can or cannot give that our life is never in jeopardy.
Right.
Remember the girl in Harlem a few months back? She was in the liquor store or something like that, and there was a whole bunch of guys, and they followed her in and offered to pay for her drink. And she, she said no, thank you, or whatever she said. But like he stomped her, and like the community came out and was like, not here.
You're right.
But still, she was hurt. Like.
And this is why there's certain cultures that cover up the women, because they know at this point, even in 2021, men cannot handle themselves. They cannot control themselves. Not all men, but some men can't control themselves, and they will act out on what they see. So instead of just fixing the men, they say, you know what, y'all cover yourselves then.
Sexual assault
is about power.
Has nothing to do with how you look.
It's about power.
I will repeat that. Sexual assault has nothing to do with how you're dressed, how your face is made. It has nothing to do with that. Sexual assault is based on the power that person wants to have over you. It's for them to control the situation. So if you turn down someone's advances, he's not upset that you turn down his advance sexually wise. No, when you turn out his advance, you took the power that he thought he had. So now he's lashing out because he wants to show you that he has the power. So sexual assault has nothing to do about sex.
That's crazy.
It's not about power. Sex.
Yeah.
It's about the power.
Yep.
And when people make the comments as to, well, how was she dressed? How was she walking? Did she accept the drink? That's not why he raped her. That's not why he wanted to rape her. That's not why he attacked her. That's not. He did it because he had to show that he was the person
in control.
Power. He has to hold his position of being in power.
Yep.
And that's it. If we had more men advocating that it's wrong to have to prove your power to a woman, then I think we'll see that the assaults that has been happening won't happen as much, because if we always boasting and bigging up a man to show him that he got to be the man, you got to be the man, and the man is the man, we got to get rid of that. It's not about, you don't always have to be in control of that situation to prove that I'm the one, I'm the man.
That you the man. No.
Yeah, because that's what it boils down to.
Tell me what you think. And I just came up with this off the cuff because I'm creative with mine, right? Tell me what you think.
Question.
What do you think if we were to invent a device, right, that could easily be inserted into the vagina, right? But but if this is only, if you just going out and you just chilling, you just want to make sure you got all your bases covered, right? It could be easily inserted into the vagina. And in the case of any type of penetration, it would sever anything that tried to penetrate.
Well, we would have to, that device would also need to be created for our mouths, because you don't have to penetrate me. You would actually want me to perform oral sex on you.
True.
Well, no, we got that, and we already got that. It's called teeth. Yes.
It isn't always. It isn't.
What's that slogan they used to say? Take a bite out of crime.
It isn't always that easy.
Take a bite out of crime.
We would like to think that it's always as easy, but yeah.
No, I'm not saying that it's easy, but what I am saying, any type of preventative measures that we could take as women to protect ourselves. Obviously I carry certain things with me in the event of any type of thing, but sometimes you don't have time to pull it out or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You know, I wanted to, once the pandemic lifted, and I wanted to do self-defense classes, you know, just to have like the fundamentals of what to do in the event of, you know what I mean? But you know, you just never know, because there's crazy people everywhere. And
I need a minute. I need a minute.
Hey, boo.
it's okay, pumpkin.
It's okay.
You're gonna make me cry.
Girl,
Okay, I'm good. Let me put my glasses back on.
I'm not. My eyes is red now.
I'm sorry. It's just but I mean, it's just a crazy thing.
No, I hear you.
Because you know, you do get placed in a position, and again, you know, especially when it happens in front of your kids, you just don't know what to do.
Totally different.
And then you don't know what and it's what it does to your kids also. Because
of course.
It always drives me crazy when people try to make it
a thing about what the woman did.
The victim, right? It's the victim's fault. It's never the victim's fault.
It's always about power. Always.
Exactly.
Always.
You know, I would love to be in a position where we was out here raping men on a regular basis.
Girl.
Exactly.
Can you imagine what kind of laws we put in place?
It'd be totally different.
If women were the one who were committing sexual assault. I mean,
that's why that governor Abbott, he literally boils my blood. We're gonna get rid of the rapists. Nigga, the rapists be people uncle.
Right.
The rapists are your colleagues.
Right.
Exactly.
We have seen
your maintenance man.
But not only that, we've seen his actual colleagues have been the perpetrators of sexual assault.
Boom.
Also, I want to add to it, besides the sexual assault, men need to start learning how to respect women. And just like, for example, when we see a fine looking dude, you might say, oh, he look good. You don't verbalize it or say, like, what's up, beautiful? What's up, handsome? We don't do that. We just like,
oh, her ass is fat. We don't do that.
do you see the thighs on that girl? We don't do that.
So we need to start doing it.
Yeah, because I think if we did,
objectifying men the way they objectify us.
I was in DMV 2 weeks ago. We walked in. I had some questions to ask that I couldn't get the answers online. Walked in. I had some stretch pants on and a t-shirt. And I'm talking to the gate wagon. I call the guy that was standing, the gatekeeper, because he's the one that decides whether you come in or not. So I'm talking to him, and I'm asking him a lot of questions. So unfortunately, with me occupying the gatekeeper's time, people were able to pass by. Right. So I'm asking the gate. I asking the gate. He was an older gentleman. He was like you could tell he was a black man. So he looked up for his age, but he was like in his 60s. Probably was in his 70s, but he looked like he was in his 60s. And next thing you know, we hear, damn! And we all, some guy look around, the dude is looking at my behind. And he's like, oh, my bad. He's like in his 30s. My bad. And he points to the guy, respect. I'm sorry. And I'm like, really? Like, but you gotta keep in mind, everybody stopped that was in the area.
Because he drew attention.
See what was the matter.
to look. Attention. So it was like, what is he talking about?
It was
now it's like news at 11. Keisha's ass.
Damn. And then, and so, me and he came outside and we were like laughing about it. But then I really thought, I was like, yo, that was so disrespectful. No, you didn't have to.
That was very disrespectful. That was very disrespectful.
Very.
Yeah. So men need, whoever, if you're a man watching this, please, if you're gonna look and be respectful, you know, but don't take it further than that. It's not necessary.
Because
And don't
at the end
touch
of the
me.
yeah, that part too.
Don't grab my arm.
Oh
You
yeah.
say, "Come here, beautiful." Don't do that.
Hey, ma, grab your hand, bruh. I
Or
don't know where
can't
your
call
hands
me.
been.
Or they be like,
No, it's like, shoot, it's COVID. Like, where my hands sanitizer?
Do it again, Yvette.
"Yo, ma, yo, light skin, yo, light skin,
They still do that?
yo, light skin.
Guys
Can I
still
walk with
do
you for
that?
a second?"
Yeah, can I walk with you for a second?
No.
Yo, you mind if I get your number? I'm married. I just want to be your friend. I'm like, dude, I'm a grown woman. That line has been put on me.
So when I be like,
I
"Oh
was
no,
a teenager. It won't work.
oh no, thank you, no, thank you." Well, fuck you then. Why do I
Yeah,
gotta
yeah, yeah. I got bottles thrown at me because I was just like, no, I'm okay. And I've always been respectful. I never been like, ugh, you're beneath me. Never, you know.
So, that's part of the assault also. Even though they don't physically assault you, they
verbally assault you.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And that kind of put fear in your heart. So now, like you said, now you prepared a dialogue.
Yes, or
Just
what
to
you
walk
need
down
to
the
say
street.
Right.
if somebody approaches you
Yeah.
and it's an unwanted approach.
That's not cool. That's not cool.
Well, you know, that's why I thought, you know, it's so crazy not to get off this subject, but on the subject with Texas. Like, we could just walk around willy-nilly with our guns all over.
But don't get no abortion after 6 weeks.
Correct.
And he just
Kill me, but not after 6 weeks.
like?
then he signed something just the other day saying that that no business can mandate the
vaccine. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But you see a judge ordered a stay on that abortion rule or law that they try to put in. Now obviously they're going to keep trying to fight, but you know that just furthers the discussion about your power trip over women.
Right. And because
you gotta go
again, here it is.
But they're gonna vote in somebody else just like him.
You're gonna force me. You're forcing me to carry my rapist baby.
Right.
You're forcing me to carry my brother, my father, my cousin, my uncle, my next door neighbor who has been molesting me and now has gotten me pregnant. I must now keep his baby.
That's crazy.
However, wait a minute. Let me finish. However, when I drown said baby in the tub, or I leave said baby in the garbage can, or I'm punished.
You're gonna come
punished.
I'm going to jail.
You're gonna come arrest me for
going to jail.
But no one thinks, no one thinks about all of those things. You know, it's like you have to keep this baby. That's what it is. So when I kill a baby, I'm in trouble. It's not that I'm mentally fucked. You understand what I'm saying? I'm supposed to keep my rapist baby. Now on top of the trauma of keeping my rapist baby, now I'm going through postpartum depression. So I'm traumatized by the rape. I'm traumatized that I had to keep this baby. Mm-hmm. I'm going through postpartum depression. Mm-hmm. And now y'all gonna put me in jail because I did harm to that baby.
Yep.
But these are the same people who say that they are pro-life.
But I can definitely kill somebody.
But
you're pro-life.
Pro-life, but that means that you care about this life all throughout its life.
So here's my point. So here's my thing.
Just say.
So when I need to go back to school to further my education so I can support that life that I now had to bring into this world, are you going to afford childcare for me?
No aid.
No.
Are you going to you know, because I work at McDonald's and I also have to pay rent because I have to house me and this child that I had to keep. How do I pay my rent? So I'm supposed to
Stay with me, ladies. No aid.
So now I'm supposed to live in the street with this baby. So now we're homeless. So
Right.
I'm walking around. So I'm homeless with a child that I was forced to keep.
And then you're gonna have an initiative with the police department to clean up our streets.
So now where does that leave me?
Can we all say it together in unison? No aid.
And you know, you all know my thoughts and the reasoning for why they want to have that law put in place, you know, to continue procreation of the white race.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. It goes back to power.
It's all about the white race.
They
don't want their white women to not keep those babies because the fear of being a minority is their fear.
Oh yeah.
It's coming.
But you have to understand that being poor is not a color thing.
It's not.
So you will still have white women having babies that cannot afford to further their education, cannot afford to house these babies. It's just so now you're breeding children that are gonna have you're birthing them into a bad situation.
Yep.
That can continue and remain a bad situation throughout their lives. And then they may become on drugs. So now, you know, they're drug addicts on the street. I mean, if you're not going to put the proper tools in place to support a law like that, then sit your ass in a corner because there's so much more that you need to do.
Like, why are you on my own? Like, why are you focusing on my own?
The fact that you're making a decision for my body.
Yeah.
Because I know when I was pregnant, I didn't realize I was pregnant until I was like 4 months pregnant.
You didn't get no periods for 3 months and didn't realize it?
It was normal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't get my periods every month.
That was normal. So I was already in my 4th month.
That's the case for a lot of women.
Right. I was already in my 4th month when I realized I was pregnant. So a man can't make these decisions. And the women that stand behind the men that are making these decisions are assholes.
Right.
Oh.
You're assholes.
Handmaids.
Mm-hmm.
Praise be.
You know, when Brady McCain was on The View, and she always wanted to talk about, I'm pro-life. You're pro-life and you're pro-gun.
Exactly. It's an oxymoron.
It's an oxymoron. I was just about to say it's an oxymoron.
It's an oxymoron, and people don't realize just how dumb you sound when they're just like, oh, you know, I'm pro-life. The NRA card carrying member.
They're pro-life for their own culture.
No, Keisha, it's not. Keisha, how can you be pro-life and support guns?
It doesn't make sense. My Second Amendment, you're not going to take away my Second Amendment right.
You support guns to kill minorities that you think are going to enter your home and hurt your family.
Okay, Keisha, I keep telling y'all, poor people come in all shades.
But, okay, so you don't forget what you just said. You just said, don't contradict yourself. You just said why they are against abortion is because they're trying to make sure that their race.
It's not a contradiction. Now, listen to what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
You're pro-life and you're in
support culture.
No, it's not for their own. Listen to
what obviously the law is for all of us. So it's kind of like you're gambling. Okay, I know that we have this law in place for everyone, but the primary goal is that we keep the white race afloat. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of other girls that are getting pregnant that are Spanish and Black, but the main goal is that our white race is still ahead of the game because statistically, they're going to be more Hispanics in whatever year they have projected. It might be already this year. So I'm saying, why do they get guns? Are they getting the guns for each other? Or obviously they're getting the guns for the poor people and the minorities.
Keisha, listen to me. They're the contradiction because you're pro-life and you are also in support of carrying your firearm.
We're saying
listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. If poor white trash comes to my door to rob my house, I don't care. I'm still gonna kill poor white trash.
No,
but this is what I'm saying to you. It's about, when it comes to that, it's not about color. It's always a class situation in that sense. It's not about the color because poor white trash want to hold their guns too. And poor white trash is pro-life also. How can you be pro-life? How are you saying that you're so pro-life when you're also for something that takes away a life? There's a contradiction.
It is a contradiction. That's what I'm saying. It's a contradiction, but in the midst of the contradiction is a main idea. The main idea is, okay, we don't want abortion because we want our white race to survive.
Correct.
So blank.
So switching gears, The Guardian released an article today detailing how Africa was intentionally and explicitly erased from the history of the modern world. Even though, surprise, surprise, Africa is where modernity began. According to The Guardian, when scientists look more closely at the evidence, it shows that Africa played a central role in modern history. Who knew?
Where they been? That's where it started.
Really? By miscasting the role of Africa, generations have been taught a profoundly misleading story about the origins of modernity. The driving force for the Age of Discovery was not Europe's yearning for ties with Asia, as so many of us learned in school, but rather it was Europe's centuries-old desire to forge trading ties with the legendary rich Black societies hidden away in the heart of the darkest West Africa. The teaching of history about this era of iconic discovery is confoundingly silent, not only on that decade, but on nearly 3 decades between Portuguese's arrival in Ghana in 1471 and their landing in India in 1498. It was this moment when Europe and what is nowadays styled sub-Saharan Africa came into permanent deep contract that laid the foundations of the modern age. The article then goes into painstaking detail on how sub-Saharan Africa would later be taken advantage of for both its mineral and human capital in the form of the slave trade. But there would be no modern society without Africa, quite literally. So all of that was basically said to say that Columbus ain't discovered shit. And
but tell us something we don't know. How can you discover something that where there were people already here? You can't discover something when there was people there.
Built on the
sure
slaves. How Africa was erased from the history.
Why are we even talking about this dude?
Statues.
Because the Italians feel proud to be connected to someone who got lost and happened.
Raped and pillaged.
Who got lost. Someone who got lost.
Sure did.
And landed in a place where there were people already living there. Mm-hmm. So he didn't discover something that was already discovered by the inhabitants that were living there.
You know what? I need for Mel Gibson to come out the grave and show a realistic.
Well, when Mel Gibson made the Passion, remember when Mel Gibson made the Passion of the Christ? I mean, they were ready to.
They were literally ready to crucify him.
They were gonna crucify him.
I need him to do the same thing.
I need you to do the same thing.
The same thing
that you did.
And he need to show when Columbus slaughtered them Indians, him and the rest of them Europeans.
Not even Indians, because they called them Indians because
they
of
thought it
the
was
fact that they were going to India. They thought that they were
lost.
He thought he got lost and was in India.
In India.
And
He
named
was
these
not
people
in India.
Indians. It's so disrespectful to the indigenous.
Somebody need to show America what really happened. Because
you know, Americans, unfortunately, a lot of Americans are not willing to actually have that history taught in schools with their children.
Because they feel
teaching their kids to hate themselves, but yet you've taught us to hate ourselves, for the entire duration of the public school system within the United States.
Yep.
You know, they will portray us they portray Black people and minorities on the news like idiots.
Yep.
About what Columbus and his crew did.
Exactly. So they teach us to hate ourselves, and then they teach them to hate us too.
Yes.
And they're the heroes.
And they're the heroes.
They're the heroes that got lost.
Yes.
They got lost.
And then named a group of people a name that
already existed.
He probably was like, Indians. They was like, wait, hold on. What?
They were like, we're not in India. Like, what are you talking about?
Indians? What is that? What is that?
It's not funny. It's really sad. It's really sad. And
they actually called the indigenous savages.
But they're the savages.
Right. Like,
they're the ones who raped and stole.
They're not savages.
They're the ones that stole and pillaged. It was them.
That's
the
indigenous
people were minding their business.
Conquering new territory is a part of history. That's what we've done for centuries. That's just something that was done.
No. I'm sorry.
But get mad that when people want to rise up, they're like, you don't belong here. Who are you?
Yeah. So, like I said, they teach us to hate us, and then they teach themselves to hate us. And then you have police officers in Ohio that pull over a Black man who's a paraplegic. And instead of listening to him, while his 3-year-old was sitting in the back seat.
You know, I would have respected it if they had said to him, sir, can we have an ambulance bring you a wheelchair, or somebody will bring you a wheelchair? No, they said, well, we'll help you get out the car. How? So you going to put me in a chair? Like, they didn't even bring a chair to the car. Nothing.
But the fact that they dragged him out by his hair.
And threw his sneakers into the car.
Right.
Just throwing and dragged him. You know, and what is very concerning about the story is that
don't believe you.
They found narcotics in the car, and we don't know. We know that,
and they say,
and that's the unfortunate part. You know, it's easier to create a story and put it out to the media, and the media runs with it, but we don't know if that is a true story, because we know for a fact, and we've seen cases where we know that things were planted on people in defense of their story.
Don't forget, when people were protesting for George Floyd, there's a video, you can go right now on YouTube, there's a video of a group of Boston cops who literally are bringing a slew of bricks to a corner. So that when protesters are passing by, they planted these bricks on purpose so that they can be thrown and to what's the word I'm looking for?
To make it seem like somebody else was doing it.
Yeah.
But they planted the bricks there.
You see some of them actually breaking the window with masks and stuff on.
Remember when Dave Chappelle years ago said something about, when a cop, when they find the body, they sprinkle crack all over the body and throw the drug at it?
Yeah.
But see, the thing is, even if, let's just say, even if
the crackhead,
black man did
drug dealer.
something wrong. Let's just say he did something wrong. He stole,
or he was a drug dealer,
killed somebody, right? He was a drug dealer. Let's just say he was wrong. We have seen them arrest white people who have done something wrong without a hair out of place.
We have seen them arrest white people who commit murder, who they know
committed
movie theaters,
a mass murder,
and take them to Burger King.
Yeah.
So that's what black people are asking. That's all black people are asking. Is the same way that y'all treat white people.
You treat us.
Get arrested.
But I have an example of how white privilege actually worked against someone. And that sounds crazy, right? White privilege working against.
I know. I'm like, well, where was this?
We all like, what was that?
Gabby Petito. Gabby Petito and that boy got into it, and the cops came. And had he been a black man, he would have been arrested.
Yep.
His white privilege is what led to that girl dying.
Girl.
Yep. True.
And it's unfortunate because a life was lost, but it actually showed how white privilege actually caused someone to lose their life.
They stopped them,
but also
and questioned them.
But also,
and the cop said that she was the aggressor.
Right.
Exactly. But when he came back home and they wanted to question him, his lawyer stepped in and was just like, "There's no reason for him to have to go in." No. And then that's when he was just like, "Make a run for it."
And now people, I'm out of here.
And that is how white privilege worked against Gabby and her family. Because now they don't even have this boy in custody.
Nope.
Because had it been me and my husband getting into an altercation, the cops would have arrested both of us.
Yep.
So do you think that because of all of the trauma that we particularly see, because I also talked about this in the video that I did about R. Kelly, about how, because his streams went up 517% after he was found guilty. And does this make us so used to trauma that it's just like, oh yeah,
another day being black,
breathing while black,
but
BWB.
But it takes a toll internally.
Yep, every time.
So we may say, "Oh, I'm good," but that stuff, and it's over and over and over again. We do internalize it.
And I think that's really why a lot of the stuff that happened with George Floyd and all like the riots and everything on our behalf too was because of the fact that we're tired of it. Everybody's just like, well, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to, break stuff. You didn't have to do anything. You just, that's how life is. No, why do we have to keep on going through it? We're angry right now. So if I sit there and want to punch something or whatever because you keep on killing us, why are you sitting there complaining? Oh, we got to do it this way.
Yeah. And we've always been brainwashed to do peaceful protesting.
Right.
Meanwhile, they go to the Capitol and try to rip that shit down.
I wouldn't say if it's brainwashing to do peaceful protesting. I just think it shows the savagery of who's really the savages.
Mm-hmm. And it keeps rearing its ugly head. But Dr. King, who they gonna try to come out and say he, come out with tapes and stuff about him,
his sexual escapades with the same sex.
My Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Riots are the voice of the unheard." Mm-hmm. So when I keep talking to you and you're not hearing me, then I'm gonna have to start throwing stuff.
I had to explain that to a few white people during this, during the the protest time. I was just like, you got to realize how many beatdowns we are taking consistently.
I'm not explaining anything to anyone, and I'm going to tell you why.
No.
Because if you're in your house, if you're in your house fighting with your husband, and you're constantly trying to get him to hear you, and you're going back and forth, and you'll break a fucking glass, you'll drop a fucking plate. Why did you do that? Because you were frustrated because he wasn't hearing you. So I don't have to explain anything to you. You fucking know the reason why. You watch the news. Every Black person is not a goddamn criminal. Every Black person is not a goddamn criminal. Every Black
Just like every white person is not a racist.
Millionaire is not a fucking rapper.
Right.
Like, come on. I don't have to explain, and I am not explaining anything. I'm not explaining it to you. I'm not explaining something that you fucking know and you're pretending that you don't know because you know. You know. So I'm not.
Like Jane Elliott said, if you would want to switch places with a Black person, raise your hand.
Ain't nobody raised their hand. Ain't nobody raised their hand when she asked.
You don't want it for yourself. Why would you want it for someone else?
And that's the proof that I don't have to explain anything.
You right. Explain myself.
If you want to continue in your ignorance.
The sad part is, and I've been in some homes that were non-Black when there was the whole Trump era was hot and heavy. One of the things that some of them think, I'm not gonna say all of them, but some of them think when they see videos like the Parapalegic, their argument is when a cop tells you to do something, you need to do it. And if you don't do it, you're crossing the line and you're going against the law.
But he asked him to get out of the car.
I'm just saying.
He was a paraplegic. He couldn't get out of the car.
This video, other videos where.
Okay. I thought we were talking about that one.
Other videos where people are told to do something by the cops and they know their rights.
They always say obey.
Okay.
You gotta comply.
All right, listen.
I'm gonna use my skills to hold up. I'm gonna use my skills to put a montage together of all of the times where a white man or white woman acted a fool with the cops.
Thank you.
I want to use that. Okay, you say that. Okay, here, look at this.
And that is what I was getting ready to say because, and I'm going to be honest with you, and I don't think it's only white people that say, because I just think a lot of times people say, to obey, the cops say this is what you do. It's not until they're in that position where the cops are being aggressive that you see them respond the same way.
Same exact way.
People that they said should not have acted that way, they themselves acted that way.
Yeah, the difference is 90% of the time when they act a certain way, they get to go home to their wife and kids, or they get to go home to their husband and kids.
Because of the fact that we're Black women, but we show our emotion, right? Yeah. How do you feel now seeing like certain shows, reality shows and stuff, and the men are actually being vulnerable and expressing their emotion about their mental health? Like Love and Hip Hop did something with, Scrappy and Mendices, and Kirk cried. I was crying. I don't like to, but they were talking about
depression.
Depression. You don't see Black men actually talk about their feelings like that.
Well, I think for so long, it was always some taboo. It was seen as a sign of weakness to share some of the feelings that you had. And I think that we just always had this thing that the stigma that Black people don't go to therapy.
Yep.
We just pray. We just go to church and it's all right. Yep. But I think now that people are actually speaking up, it's not seen as it's therapy.
You a punk.
Yeah, right. I think now it seems like, yo, I got some issues, and I need to talk about this.
I might need to sit on somebody's couch.
Not for nothing. I used to be there. I be like, nigga, you crying? What you crying for?
That is the worst thing.
Yes.
You crying, and I had to realize that, like, as I grew older, I was just like, yo, like, you need to chill. Like, now I love when a guy expresses himself. I'd rather you get it all out instead of blowing up and not being heard or so. Now, cry in front of me, boo. Cry in front of me. I'll sit there and be like, let me lay hands. Come on. Like, come on. Come. Lay right here.
Right here.
And it wasn't always covered by insurance.
Yeah.
So then that was like, do I have this $200 to spend?
Or should I get formula for my child? Or,
do I have this $200 to spend, or do I have this $200 to go buy an ounce of weed?
But, right. It just, but
yeah, let me see.
Now.
But that was our priorities, though.
But
that's my priority.
But you know what? It's funny that you say that, because they were using that as therapy, or they use it as therapy.
I've seen the miracles of marijuana.
I'm a testifying member.
Well, you got a card, Kaya. Eve ain't got a card.
Yeah.
You got a card.
I did my research. It costs $200. That mine. But anyway,
do it. But aren't they making it legal or something like that in New York?
No, weed is legal in New York now.
Right.
Wait, is it legal, like, you ain't got no ailments and I can just go to the corner and get me some weed, or is it legal?
They sell it. You can have a certain amount on you.
All right. So the Black business that we'd like to shout out in this episode is Free. Free stands for Pure Harmonious Revolutionary Experience, which is what they are determined to provide for their customers. The founders have put